I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener. Buy merch indeed, a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
Another live stream in progress.
Yes, sirree, Bobbert. Now, Alter Bridge is song number 1 on this thingamajiggy. And as you guys can see, I'm rocking an Alter Bridge shirt. But wallahi, I had no freaking idea that Alter Bridge was going to be the first band that we were reviewing. So that's an interesting situation. Also, guys, let me know if you can hear us and then how good or bad you're hearing us per se. You can take it away while I set up the aesthetics, ma'am.
And Nick, you are still using the same picture, I'm assuming. So, you want me to send that to you, or do you have it?
Yeah,
I can airdrop it to you.
You can airdrop it to me.
I will do that.
How
right
is everybody doing on a Friday? Thank you, beautiful people, for hanging with your brother and sister on a Friday. We missed you.
Today was hot where we are. I don't know how it was where you guys are from. I'm having a little trouble here. Airdrop. There we go.
Go ahead. Say what you were going to say.
I don't really have anything interesting to say. I mean, I hung out with babies all day. Except for when I was taking a nap because I didn't feel well.
Here you go. We should...
Did you get that? Did you get that picture?
I probably deleted it.
Oh, there we go. See this guy? Nick?
Yeah, Nick Haas.
Is this from this stream?
Yeah.
Okay. You remember how I showed you that one person on Patreon that says, I do not consent to monthly charges?
Yeah.
That's him.
That's him?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello from the future. What's up,
Hello from the past.
Tasco? Tasco in the house. He's from the future because he's in Australia, I think. So they're like ahead of us, inshallah, I think. Time is relative like everything else. Okay, guys. We got some amazing songs for you that was reserved by the big homie DJ Nick.
Yeah,
you can
DJ
all
Nick.
type your 22s to show gratitude to the big homie.
Did you get that picture I
who's been
airdropped?
locking down Fridays for us for quite some time. Send it again.
Got charged.
Did we fix that? He got charged?
Well,
Did we fix that?
He's on Patreon. He knows he's getting charged. It's just his name on Patreon says, I do not consent to monthly charges.
Vin, you gonna bail your girl AOC out of jail? Yeah, I think she got a $50 citation, bro. So I don't know. Did she actually do something to end up in jail?
Or was that I thought had her hands behind her back?
Shout out to AOC. Oh, God. Babe, God bless her. Okay.
Literally, I took that screenshot and I don't know where the frig it went.
Yeah.
All right, let me do it again.
You didn't send it to me, that's for sure. Okay, guys.
I must have sent it to the other Vin I know.
Yeah, you did. Send it back to me.
All right.
Okay, guys, you know the deal. You get four songs minimum, and you become a DJ. There is no maximum, and the big homie Nick has reserved Fridays. So here we go, guys. Song number 1 is by the band Alter Bridge, and the name of this song is Pawns and Kings.
Oh, I was going to say
Pawns-
totally the wrong thing there. Okay, you have
Pawns
that?
and Kings is the name of this song. Here is, with that, dear listener, we will put Nick's icon over here. Eventually, talk to the people.
I didn't even see Nick over there. Oh, there you are.
We've been singing Nick.
Well, no, this is the first time I looked over at the comment section.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you know who really loves you, Village. Huh?
Yeah.
It is
Ben
I!
has everything in front of him.
My girl, AOC. A year ago, that would have got me in trouble.
It's true. What up? So what have you been saying about her?
I think-
Why are they calling her your girl?
Yeah, I think we've made some progress, inshallah. All right,
Alter
guys.
Bridge, Pawns and Kings, and
Is there a little intro thingamajiggy?
no?
All right.
You know how Nick is.
We'll just get right into it. Alter Bridge, Pawns and Kings. Let's make it happen. You hear anything?
Not yet. I assumed it was coming.
Something's wrong with the volume. There's no way. What is going on there? All right, keep talking to the people. Oh, you idiot.
As I said before,
You idiot.
my day was not that thrilling. We are thinking about going to the movies tomorrow. It's
Nope. Did you figure it out?
I did. I did.
Was that intelligent of me?
It was. It shocked me for a second. I was like, huh.
Was it very
Well played.
impressive?
Very fast.
Very impressive.
Quick mind.
Quick mind. All right, here we go. Alter Bridge, Pawns,
The baby's
and
coming
Kings.
mid-October.
Let's go. All right, let's do this one more time. Alter Bridge, Pawns and Kings. Let's go.
Tear down the walls and show your courage as you heed the call. Embarking on the journey yet to come. There is no time to waste. The wretched and the heartless take your future if you let. There will be time.
Sounds like Egyptian.
Stand up and hold your ground. Don't let the bastards grind you down. It's time to show the devil what we are. Surrender nevermore, though deep inside we're
Talk to me. What a first song. Alter Bridge, I've always respected Alter Bridge, but I've never loved the song. But I freaking love this song, bro. Holy shit, DJ
I am
Nick.
so surprised. I literally
This
thought
song is unbelievable
when
to
it
me.
started that I was like, "Oh, Vin's not gonna like it. It's too preachy." And then I see you grabbing your phone and adding it to your playlist. I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Nah, that's going to the freaking playlist, bro. That's going to the playlist, man. This is a pro-life anthem right here for me.
Oh.
The last shall be first. Give it time.
Nice. Okay.
See, that's the thing that people don't understand about. People don't understand. You know, you got one country that's effectively eliminated Down syndrome from their country. And I was on one of my forums, and I got a friend, and he's a good friend. But he basically said, "Yeah, man, they did the right thing. Genetically, those people are they're unfit."
So awful.
That was the words.
Wow.
They're unfit, man. Get rid of them. So it was just. I was thinking about this, where Jesus said, "Blessed are the poor," and Job has that phrase, "Naked I came out of the womb, naked I shall return. The Lord gives, the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord."
Yeah.
What's the point of saying, "Naked I came out of the womb"? Why? What does that mean? What it means is, when a guy is poor, you basically say, "All I had was a shirt on my back." So the poorest people in the world are babies. They come into the world naked. They don't even have the shirt on their back. That's what Job was saying. I came into the world naked. So everything I have was given to me. That's the point. So they're the poorest and the least valued. They're not the least valuable. They're the least valued. And I have this is and I get it. Most of my interlocutors are white people in this country. It's just my point is I come from a group of people who have been completely dehumanized in this country. So that's what people don't understand. Like, that's where I get that kinship from, and that's what drives me. I would like to say I'm completely driven purely by what God says on the matter. And I am. But on a really deep, visceral level, people who don't know what it's like to be dehumanized and devalued, historically in society, they don't get it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's a psalm, and it talks about, you know, this big festival when this thing is all over, and, you know, Benjamin was the smallest tribe, and so it says there's little Benjamin at the front. And I remember reading that psalm. It was the first time I've ever read the psalm, and I just saw in front of me this giant crowd marching, everybody celebrating. At the very tip of the spear, the very head of it, was a bunch of Down syndrome kids. And it gave me a lot of hope, but it completely tore my heart out, man, because and you know, this country really has declared war on children, man. We'll sit outside of a classroom and fucking watch as they get killed. There'll be a 10-year-old that gets raped, and then you'll have people that don't care because it doesn't fit their agenda. So they'll go after her or go after whatever, try to act like it didn't happen. It's tough. It's tough to anyway. But the song is like so hopeful. You know, the last will be first. Stand your ground, hold your head high, your honor for your life. You know, and
our victory will prove in time that we were right all along. We must stand up for all that we are. We must fight till the dawn, till the last of their kind are gone.
Yeah. 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 So, like, there's a part of me, you know, there's a lot of politics involved and all the rest of it. But just emotionally, man, it's hard to hear people just completely devalue a human being. And, you know, it says, stand your ground, don't compromise. You know, and everybody likes that phrase, like, don't compromise, when it's something that they believe in. But when somebody who doesn't believe in what you believe in refuses to compromise, people don't celebrate that.
They get angry.
And, you know, that's why he said, like, in time, like, I know what history is going to say about us. I know what it's going to say because I have historical precedent.
Yeah.
I know what history says about the people who hid Jews in Germany. I know what history says about the people who participated in the Underground Railroad freeing slaves, or participated in the Civil War, or John Brown and his writings. Like, so I know what history is going to say. I also know what history is going to say about our opposers. And it's mind-boggling to me that people do not look at the historical pattern. In the Western world, when has the majority...
And we have that phrase, too. If you don't, like, basically, you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah, you're doomed to repeat it. When in history has this happened? Where a group of people have been, like, discarded and devalued, and all of society... You have the majority of society saying, yeah, that's the pattern. That's the default of human beings. It's always a minority of people that are saying, no, this is wrong. And then the rest of people say dumb shit like mind your business or whatever. But then then we go look back at the people in the 1800s and judge them because we think we're better than them. Like, it's mind-boggling to me. It's mind-boggling to me. But this song is very, very inspiring to me, man. Like, it's a very inspiring song.
So when the song first started out for me, I was like, not really, a fan. And then as it progressed, I kept liking it more and more and more. And then by the end,
it was just inspiring, man. And
so are they a Christian band?
They used to be in Creed. I think the guitarist is a Christian. Like, he wrote a song about doubting his faith, and then the guitarist was the one, like, trying to disciple him. Shout out to Clarissa. Shout out to Ashley. Like, he talked about, so, yeah, I mean, obviously, he mentioned God's will at the end, until God's will is done. Mm-hmm. And, pawns and kings, like, the pawns, the people that you think are disposable, they're going to be on the throne of this universe, bro. Guaranteed. Mm-hmm. Guaranteed. All these Down syndrome kids that all of us want to get rid of, we're going to be shining their shoes for eternity, and I can't wait. Can't wait to do that, bro.
See, when I heard the part, and though we're pawns, we could be kings. If we believe against all odds, we will survive. The last be first, give it time. To me, that was like, that was a message to all of us individually. Like, don't settle for the position that you have. Like, try to make your way to not be a pawn, but to be a king, and to lead this country in a direction that is right, that is morally good.
Yeah.
And that's how we're going to make that traction, is when a lot of us stand up and say, okay, this is wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a beautiful song, man. It's a beautiful song. It's an 11 for me. I really, really enjoyed the song. If I keep talking about it, I'm just going to get, really emotional. Nobody cares about that.
9.8 for me.
I really love this song.
And, like, it started out really low for me, like a 5.
Nick, I really appreciate you bringing me this song, bro. Honestly. I really, really appreciate this song.
Added to the playlist.
My brother has Down syndrome, and he's to the core the best person I know.
See, that's the thing. I feel like anybody that says something like that hasn't spent time around a Down syndrome person. Because it doesn't take very long spending time around them that you're like, okay, this is... Go look up some videos on YouTube of Down syndrome kids, and there's one out there where the kid gets told he's going to Disney. Oh God, it's such a cute video.
I remember we were pregnant with Reza, and we were talking about, like, maybe he's got Down syndrome. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's gonna be one of those kids, you know. Like, but
I would be such a terrible parent, because I'd have a hard time to, like, I really would. I'd have a hard time to, like, guide them and tell them that they were wrong on something. Because I'm like, well, look, he's already suffering. I feel like, though, that you would still, have expectations for the child, which I think is healthy and good.
My boyfriend has it, and he's very awesome. Shout out to Clarissa. Clarissa, send us an email. We'll send you and your boyfriend a free shirt, a free Vin and Sori shirt. Send us an email, vinandsori@gmail.com. Send us your address and your sizes.
Shirt
and
sizes.
We'll send both of you guys a free shirt. Yeah. Shout out to Jorge Barajas. Yeah. No, that's a great song. Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you so much. We have more coming on the way.
Falling in Reverse, Voices in My Head.
Holy shit! Next. What an inspiring song. I'm gonna be singing that song with, like, be prepared. Especially tomorrow is our date day, so we're gonna be driving around and shit. Shout out to XBM. Unbelievable. DJ Nick, if you were around, I'd give you a big hug and a kiss. Wow.
He's like, that's why I'm not around, man. Yeah. That's uncomfortable.
Unhand me, Negro. How dare you? Not that there's anything wrong with that. All right. We shall return. DJ Nick, it's a Friday, bitches. I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at sori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them. I am going to send you guys, I'm going to show you guys something. So, Selah has been going to this horse farm, and she's been helping them work for like literally weeks. And well, not weeks, months. And they keep promising that they're going to give her lessons. And here she is. They did get her on the horse. Oh, it was supposed to be a moving picture, but I don't know. It's not moving. It's still cute though.
Did you send a screenshot and think it was a video?
No, I downloaded the video and sent that. But it's not like a video. It's like one of those live videos. So maybe that's not working like that. But yep, she's riding the horses now.
Alrighty then.
All right, DJ Stream is in the works. Shout out to DJ Nick.
Blind
Falling
Guardian
in Reverse.
Battlefield. That's interesting.
Falling in Reverse, Voices in My Head.
That's amazing, Michelle. I really, really appreciate that. It's good to see your journey. Thank you
for the super chat.
Did we download that song yet?
Oh,
Falling in Reverse?
I didn't. I thought it was already.
Okay, talk to the people.
And babe, I'm so bad at that when you say talk to the people.
Well, honey.
I know.
Driving everything. What do you want?
I know. Oh my word. So Gutter Gods, we were talking. Wait a minute, is Gutter Gods here? I just realized that this is yesterday's stream.
You can tell by the bandana, you weirdo. I don't think
Also
Gutter
my
Gods is
purple
in here
shirt.
yet, inshallah. I don't think Gutter Gods is in here.
Yeah, it was crazy because, well, I'm just going to say that anyway. Yesterday, Gutter Gods was talking about, like, have you considered the difference between courage and ego?
Yep.
And then the
Such a
show
provocative question.
It really is. And then the show
Very
that we were
provocative
watching last
question.
night, I was like, as soon as he said that, I immediately thought of that character and thought, I feel like a lot of what she does is ego. Like, a lot. And then she confirmed it by her own mouth.
Yeah, she, I love what they're doing at the story. We're not going to tell you what we're watching, but I'm going to do a deep dive review on it at some point. But it is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like the character development, the progression. It's not, it's not what I thought it would be. It really is something completely different. Okay, guys, here we go. This is the DJ Stream with DJ Nick, who's already started off giving us an 11 with Alter Bridget's song Pawns and Kings, I believe. So the band Falling in Reverse
Voices in My Head is up next.
has the unfortunate providence of having to go after that amazing song. This is Falling in Reverse, Voices in My Head. This should be interesting. Let's check it out.
The voices in my head keep on telling me to pray, cause I'm spinning like a carousel, circling the train. Hit the bottom of the bottle, I don't wanna feel the pain, but that is all I got for now. I don't wanna talk about the voices in my head keep on begging me to stay. If I pull the trigger now, then the demons go away. And I know my time is coming, so there ain't no time to waste. So that is all I got for now. I don't wanna talk about the voices in my head keep telling me to choose a side. It's heaven or hell, like it's do or die. I'm a sad boy, you know better. Please don't make this last forever. The voices in my head keep telling me I'm not okay. It's feeling like a hurricane in my brain. Hard clouds, hard times, bad weather. Please don't make this last forever. The voices in my head keep on telling me I'm gonna. And I don't wanna talk about the drama. They're telling me I'm fine, but we both know that's a fucking lie. I'm losing my mind, but I don't wanna talk about it. Voices in my head keep giving me the worst advice. Kamikaze crash like a suicide. I'm a lost boy, you know better. Please don't make this last forever. The voices in my head keep telling me that I'm insane, and maybe I'm a little bit that won't change. Hard clouds, hard times, bad weather. Please don't make this last forever. The voices in my head keep on telling me I'm gonna. And I don't wanna talk about the drama. They're telling me I'm fine, but we both know that's a fucking lie. I'm losing my mind, but I don't wanna talk about. Voices in my head keep on telling me I'm cursed. I'm paranoid, I don't wanna make it any worse. We're all gonna die, but first things first. I'm gonna take the world with me when they put me in the dirt. The voices in my head keep on telling me I'm cursed. I'm paranoid, I don't wanna make it any worse. We're all gonna die, but first things first. I'm gonna take the world with me when they put me in the dirt. Move!
Oh, talk to him. Talk to him.
Voices in my head are telling me I'm cursed. I'm paranoid, I don't wanna make it any worse. We're all gonna die, first things first. Take the world with me when they put me in the.
That the Stranger Things girl?
And I don't wanna talk about the trauma. They're telling me I'm fine, but we both know that's a fucking lie. I'm losing my mind, but I don't wanna talk about it. Keep on telling me to pray, cause I'm spinning like a carousel, circling the train. At the bottom of the bottle, I don't wanna feel the pain. I'm losing my mind, but I don't wanna talk about it.
Whoa. These guys, hopefully we don't get blocked, because they usually block us. These guys are, I think that this is the best band I've ever seen combine hip-hop and metal.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when
They do
Korn and
well,
those
yeah.
bands came out, you had this thing called rap metal or whatever, but it was like rockers doing rap music. Like, you could tell, like, that's a rocker doing rap music. And it was kind of gimmicky or whatever, and it worked. But these guys are, like, this dude is really rapping. And is it, like, Biggie level rap? No. But, if you look at the current rap in this generation,
Yeah.
these guys are right there.
Yeah.
Like, the current rap, you know, is not really based on, like, complex lyricism. It's based on, can you make a good song and all the rest of it. These guys combine. Rage Against the Machine. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that, Nick. I'll have to temper my what I said. I think Rage Against the Machine is a like the De La Roca guy. He's like a genuine like hip hop head in my opinion. Like, and I feel like he's a gifted rapper. These guys, though, I still think that for the contemporary rap style of today, these guys have it down, and then they combine it with metal. It just works.
Yeah.
It really, really works. One of the things about the current rap style, though, that I it's fascinating. Lyrically, they're nowhere near as talented as the rappers I grew up with. But as far as like overall, most of these rappers now have to sing. Like the Drake, that type of thing, that kind of style.
Yep.
You have to be able to sing and rap at the same time now, which is not something like Biggie would sing, but it was a joke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that Player Hater song. Player
yeah.
Hater, open up the door, lay on the floor. You've been robbed. This is a robbery, nigga.
It's a robbery.
Player hater. And his song, you know, was all off, and he was missing notes and shit. But the current rapper now, not only do you have to be able to rap, but you also have to be able to sing, which is a very interesting trade-off. So what that means is that the lyrical complexity is going to go down. But in my opinion, the degree of difficulty actually goes up. Because you have to, I mean, you know, you have to hit notes and all the rest of it. That's not something that, even gangster rappers, like Vaughn had some singing stuff. I tell you I love you, I mean it. Why they got killed, I seen it. You know, like, so yeah. So in my mind, like, these guys are the best ever at taking a contemporary hip hop style and melding it with, you know, metal or whatever. It's not a very guitar heavy song. You know, the guitars were kind of there to set the stage for the rap. Like the singer is really the focal point of this particular song. But they've got a really, really good formula. I really appreciate this guy's style. Like, I respect it. I respect it a lot. You know, a lot of like the 90s hip hop heads, if you came up in the 90s with Big and all those guys, like there's all this like, not disrespect, but you know, because the lyrical content isn't as complex, they don't get the credit for it.
Yeah.
But they're not realizing that you have to actually be more talented in today's rap, in my opinion. Because I can't sing for shit, but you know, it's not difficult to come up with complex rhyme schemes. Like, if you really put your mind to it, like you lock yourself down and put your mind to it, you can, anybody, in my opinion, can be a good rapper. But there's some people that can sing and there's some people that can't, period. End of story. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and then the other thing.
I see what you're saying.
The other thing, too, is like, if you try to do that shit live and you really can't sing, that shit gets exposed with the quickness.
Yes. Like,
so that's the other side of it too, is like, you know, you have to come with it as well on, you know, in a live performance. I respect it. From an older generation hip hop head, I respect the current rap, and I also respect the hell out of this band for being able to meld them both so well together. Just really good job. Really good job. Neil says Eminem is the greatest rapper of all time. Yeah. I think Eminem had a couple years, like that Renegade year, where he was the best rapper, but longevity wise, Eminem has fallen completely and totally off the map. And that's okay, because Eminem's style was, I think Eminem is like the epitome of lyricism. I think you get Jay. You didn't miss much. Yeah, I think you get Jay, and I think you get Eminem, like those two, and then Cool G Rap, obviously. But a lot of you know, suburban cats don't know about Cool G Rap, but Cool G Rap was, you know. So yeah, Eminem was the epitome of like lyricism, I think. But he hasn't been able to adapt, and so obviously he gets a couple of demerits for that. But Eminem, you can't go wrong with Eminem. Good Lord. Okay, so lyrically, what do you think the song is about?
Well, I mean, he's talking about having voices in his head that is telling him to, you know, basically it's over. And, well, not over, but telling him he needs to choose a side where he's going to be. But I think he's just...
The voices in my head.
The voices seem pretty negative.
Voices in my head keep telling me to pray because I'm spilling like a carousel circling the drain. Hit the bottom of the bottle. I don't want to feel the pain, but it's all that I got for now. I don't want to talk about it. The voices in my head keep begging me to stay. If I pull the trigger now, then the demons go away. And now my time is coming, so there ain't no time to waste. It's all I got for now. I don't want to talk about it. Then he goes into the chorus. So what's happening is, like, he's got voices in his head telling him to do the right thing. So in the first verse,
Well, at first.
the voices in the first, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in verse 1, there are voices, plural, in his head telling him to pray.
Telling him to pray, yeah.
Which, again, we've been doing a lot of work with consciousness and Jungian ideology and things of that nature. And so when a person says they hear voices in their head, are you talking about like audio phenomenology, like you actually hear voices, and is it actually located in your head? Like, people don't think about that. Like,
Yeah.
you're putting a physical location to a metaphysical it'd be like saying like my will to fight is in my hands. Like, everybody would say, well, that's metaphorical. But a lot of people truly believe that in your head, that's where you're imagining all this stuff, or you're making it up, and it all came from your head.
Yeah.
Well, what is it about the constituent parts of your head that generates these kinds of voices? Like, we were listening to Kurt Jaimungal, and the guy was saying, look, the same atoms that make up your brain are the same atoms that make up your kidney. You wouldn't say that your kidney's conscious. You wouldn't say that your kidney generates consciousness. What is it about this particular organization of matter and atoms that gives rise to consciousness and things like that? There's literally no difference. That's fascinating. Now, obviously, I don't believe any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to come out of the closet as a panpsychist, but I definitely am extremely skeptical about physicalism, like that the physical objects in the world are actually there without mentation. Like, I'm almost certain that that's not true. So then you ask a guy like Bernardo Kashup, well, then what the hell is the brain? And Kashup says that your brain is just an icon for the phenomena of consciousness. So that's all your brain is. He doesn't believe that your brain actually physically is there. It's an icon for you to be able to say there's some relationship between this thing and consciousness. So then the question is, where are all these voices coming from? And you take a thing like schizophrenia, and people think, oh, that's when you hear voices in your head, and you give them meds, and that well, if you ask people with extreme cases of schizophrenia, it doesn't matter how many meds you give them. There's folks where that does not work. And it's because we're assuming, a lot of these guys were taught in materialist, physicalist universities, so they're assuming that everything can be explained via physical phenomena, and so you counteract that with a physical prescription drug or whatever. But this guy is the first set of voices in his head are actually telling him to do something good. Pray, you're in trouble, that type of thing. You remember that whole story about that lady that had okay, guys, this is an unbelievable story, but it's true. It's an unbelievable story, but it's true. This woman heard a voice in her head with an accent that says, you have a tumor, you need to get your tumor checked out. And she ignored it, but the voices got louder and louder and louder. You have a tumor. So she went to the doctor. This is a peer-reviewed study. I'm dead serious. She went to the doctor and said, I have a tumor. And they looked over and said, you don't have a tumor. You're okay. This kept intensifying. Finally, one of the doctors said, can we please get this woman a CAT scan? Just get it done, and then we'll... Sure enough, she had a tumor. Now, keep in mind, the other neurologists or whatever that had scanned her initially said, nah, you're good. And then they finally did some other degree of CAT scan, and they found it, and then they removed it. When she got out of surgery, she heard, we were happy that we could help you. Goodbye. She never heard it again. And this is like a peer... You remember when I showed you all that, because you didn't believe me when I first told you.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Right. And people were like, what the hell? Like, what is that? So my point is, when people hear about, like, you hear voices in your head, most of the time they'll say you're crazy, and most of the time people think that the voices are telling you to do something bad all the time. When that's not necessarily the case. There are almost universal experiences of people hearing voices or phrases in their head I'm just saying that for the sake of everybody here. People hearing voices that are telling them to do the right thing, to do good things, and then there are other voices in their head that tell them to do the wrong thing. Go ahead.
The old cartoons, they always had the devil on one shoulder, the angel on the other. Like, it was more accepted, I think, at that point in time that you would have both types of voices trying to convince you to do it, this thing or that, you know. And the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other was an easy way to show kids
explicate
100% what was going on, what we were all kind of experiencing.
So I just think that that's fascinating. You know, some people say, is it the collective consciousness? Some people say, is that God directly? What was interesting is that the woman heard, we were glad to be of assistance, have a good day. And like I said, she never heard them again. It's just unbelievable. So the world is such a strange place. I will link the study of that person in the description of the video, because I know people are kind of like, that's ridiculous, but I mean it actually happened. What's interesting is, you know, I made a statement yesterday about the kid and, you know, Ramos, and I'm gonna consistently call him a kid because he had turned 18 right before he shot up all those kids in Uvalde, so he's a kid himself. And I said yesterday, I have no like ill feelings toward that guy. I look at that guy as a victim himself. All of my angry feelings are obviously directed toward the police. But one of the reasons that I have a hard time being angry at that kid is because he obviously was subjected to this kind of stuff, right? Obviously voiced it in his head. Yeah. And he makes that statement, I'm paranoid, I don't want to make it any worse. Voices in my head keep telling me I'm cursed. We're all going to die, but first things first, I'm going to take the world with me when they put me in the dirt. So you can almost be certain that that's what the kid was hearing. Like, you're going to die, take all these people with you, your name will be remembered, blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is he was hearing is what he was hearing. And I'm certain that there were things that he did to cry out for help or whatever that were just not picked up on. You know, look, the cops had enough time to apprehend this dude before he actually did any serious damage. And they didn't do it because they were trying to save their own skin. And I think, like I said, I do think that there is a crisis of manhood in this country, and I don't mean people are not, you know, it's not about the toxic masculinity bullshit. It's about the older generation helping the younger generation through navigate some really difficult and scary times. You know, the last 5 years in this country have been insane. We've had the media telling us that our country was, our president was at the behest of some hostile foreign entity, you know, with the whole Trump Russiagate nonsense. Then after that happened, the other half of the media was telling us that the election wasn't real, and then the gas prices, and then New York City doing this weird how to survive a nuclear there's a lot of shit happening, and you got these young men who have, because of the nature of being male, a higher capacity for violence, and the country is flooded with weapons, and mental health issues are skyrocketing. You force these kids away from all their friends during the lockdowns.
Yep.
You know, the Buffalo shooter explicitly stated that he got radicalized during the COVID lockdowns. Like, that shit, you basically put a lot of these kids in solitary confinement. So I'm not going to hate that kid.
And even when they were around each other, when everybody's forced to wear masks over their face, it still makes you feel distant from people. Yeah,
100. And then this kind of suspicion of all of your people who you would normally smile at in Walmart. Now somebody like sneezes. You remember this, like last year, if somebody sneezed or coughed, everybody was You know, like
Yeah.
this complete like perpetual suspicion of everybody, and everybody, you know, like I understand how an 18-year-old kid or 17-year-old kid could be like, yo, I'm out of here, bro. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand how grown men who have children themselves could sit there and let that happen. This to me is like the worst episode in American history of shit. I really enjoyed the song because he's definitely speaking to some very real issues and speaking for people that don't have a voice, because we're told in society to hate everybody that does these mass shootings. We're not told to try to understand them. You know, it's just kill them. And, you know, so we're not told to try to understand why they're doing what they're doing. And I want to know why they're doing what they're doing. Not only so we can avoid it, I just want to know this person. Why? What drove that individual? Like, that's what I want to know. Because apparently this guy went through his entire life, you know. Anyway, I just thought the song was really good.
I thought the song was interesting because at the first part, verse 1, he's telling them, like, that there's this voice that's saying, look, you're spinning around like you're on a carousel. Obviously, he was going through a difficult time, but the voice is telling him to pray. And it doesn't say that he did. Then the voice is like, look, you got to choose a side. And then he says, I'm a sad boy. You know better. Please don't make this last forever. And then the voices, it seems to me that there's a progression where they're continually dropping lower and lower and lower for him. Because then the voices are telling him that he's not going to be okay. And then the voices are telling him he's going to die. And so, like, these voices are progressively getting more and more toxic. And
yeah, I missed that. That's a good point.
I think that's what happens. Like, the more that we allow, and I'm coming from a perspective, I'm a Christian, so that, I guess I have to factor that into the discussion. Like, for me personally, when I felt myself taking that decline, it did seem like it was getting worse and worse and worse. And eventually I hit a point where I was like, my thoughts were so toxic and so negative toward myself. And, you know, and then at that point, it's very easy to get thoughts of suicide because you're just trying to escape. And I guess maybe some people aren't trying to escape. Maybe some people it's different things. Yeah, but it gets really... There's
this... I get that, and I relate to that. But what's happening now is people want to take other people with them. That's the element where I say, what is going on? Yeah,
I mean, I definitely think that there's something extra when that is happening. But I do think that there comes a point where you have to start making the conscious choices not to listen to those negative voices and to counteract them with something else. And I think that therapy is important for people. I do think that, like, sometimes you have to get a change of scenery too. Like, if you're going to the same groups of people, or you're hanging out in the same comment sections, or you're hanging out on the same sites and the same types of people, and it's dragging you down more and more and you're never feeling uplifted, then you should find other places, other people to hang out with, and get the mental help that you need. Because if you're just going to... But part of it is making a conscious decision ourselves to say, okay, rather than keep visualizing these negative things, what?
You know, it's interesting. As a Christian, you have some sort of paradigm that just because the thing flashes in your head doesn't necessarily mean it's coming from you. So in our belief system, we believe that there's, let's say, just vanilla. Because aside from the things that we're looking at as far as consciousness goes, there's you, then there's malevolent forces, and there are good forces. So at minimum, you've got three categories for the origin of that thought. Modern secularists, Freud won over Jung in the Western world as far as psychology goes. Most people, when they have a thought in their head, believe that it came from them. Exclusively from them. So when you're saying you have to ignore those voices, you're making a distinction between the voices you hear in your head and you, because what part of you is ignoring the voice?
Yeah.
They think that every thought that's in their head comes from them, which in my view is one of the flaws of materialism, because you don't have that sort of meta-consciousness to look outside and say, that's not for me.
Yeah.
What's fascinating about Jungian ideology or panpsychist ideology or Hoffman's ideology is that you don't even have to be a theist to believe that there could be multiple voices in your head that did not originate from your, as Kastrup calls it, executive ego. Mm-hmm. That there are sub-egos and subconsciousnesses that have true ontology. Mm-hmm. And as you know, the phrase I use, that you're responsible for, because you have an executive ego that can choose between the 2 or 3 or 5. And I think that's so helpful, because then you can say, that's not me, that's not coming from me, or that's not,
I agree.
That's what we're and now, I mean, us.
That's really terrifying that there's whole groups of people that don't realize
the vast majority of people don't realize that. The vast majority of people believe that every thought in their head originates from them. Yeah. So, and again, that's what happens when Freud beats Jung. I mean, Jung is making a major comeback right now, and I think a lot of that is coalescing with the doom of space-time. And I think all of us are now seeing the obvious flaws in materialism. We all had that discussion yesterday about colors.
Right.
That colors are nothing but a mass hallucination, a mass illusion and delusion. And so I think as science progresses, and as I was just watching Castro. I actually stopped it because I wanted you to watch it with me. Bernardo Castro, for his second doctorate, because when you're going for your doctorate, you have to defend your thesis.
Okay. So
Bernardo Castro is in this highfalutin university, defending his panpsychist thesis on this board of people. It's unbelievable. I stopped. I was like, I wanted to watch. I was like, I gotta watch it with Sori.
Aww.
So what I'm saying is, like, that is making a huge surge right now, and so I think the next generation is going to have a lot more equipment as far as being able to handle these things.
Yeah.
Than generations past. But I really enjoyed this song. Obviously not as much as a previous song. This is at 9.8.
9.6.
All right, dear listener, the night has just begun.
Disturbed is up next.
Disturbed is up next. That was
Hey
a deep
You.
song. Was it Hey You? Mm-hmm. Okay, we shall return. Then out.
Sorry, out.
Don't. How do you differentiate your own thoughts from God telling you something I don't know about others, but my thoughts are always narrated in my own voice? Well, one, God's voice is always going to coincide with God's voice. In other words, we say that the scripture is the word of God. And so if God were to tell, if a voice in my head says, smack Sori, I know definitively that's not God, because categorically the Bible says I'm supposed to love my wife as Christ loved the church, who loved her and gave himself for her. So I can just know categorically all that is out. Secondly, I almost always know the voice of God because it's telling me to do something I don't want to do, or it's telling me that I'm wrong when I really believe that I'm right. Particularly when I'm logically right and I beat somebody in an argument and that voice says, yep, and you were completely wrong. Like I said yesterday, a surgeon wounds in order, God told me this it is actually in the middle of a video. I can show you the moment when it happened.
Oh, really?
But God told me, a surgeon wounds in order to heal. So yes, there are times you need to hurt people's feelings. And then the Lord said, but a surgeon uses a scalpel and not a saw. You moron. Well, he didn't say you moron, but when Jesus rebukes you, it's the most beautiful thing in the world.
Did he tell you that before, years ago?
No, I've used that phrase a bunch. A surgeon wounds in order to heal.
Oh.
I've used that phrase a bunch.
I was like, I really feel like
but the scalpel saw thing is the thing that was different. So I was completely right, and everybody knows when I'm in a discussion and I have all my facts and you don't have any facts, depending on my mood, I will cut your throat, bro, like, period. And Laura's like, yeah, that didn't come from me. Mm-hmm. That didn't come from me. Mm-hmm. Jesus is the only person literally in the universe or universes that could ever get me to go, oh yeah, you're right about that. Mm-hmm. Like, could people know? You guys have been around me for a couple of years. You know the deal. So those are some factors. All right, commercial break. We'll be right.
I mean, other people have stuff to say too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think there's also just like in regular life, you hear somebody's voice. There's a familiarity with that voice, and you recognize their voice because it's theirs. And in a strange way, it becomes like that with God, where it's not like you're hearing it with your ear, but there's a certain sense that goes with it, and you're like, oh, that's him. There's a certain familiarity that is like, it's grasped by other senses that once you tap into, you have. It's one of those things that once you experience it, you're like, oh, that's what that is. But prior to that, I think maybe it's a little bit weird of an explanation.
Well, the analogy is hitting, Alan, because if a surgeon did the surgery with a saw, you wouldn't feel it when you were unconscious, but the ramifications of that saw are going to follow you for the rest of your life. So it's not about hurting somebody in the moment. It's about the long-term effects of the way that you handle people. Secondly, the analogy was for me, and I understood exactly what it meant. It wasn't for everybody else, because most of you are not like me in that regard. Yeah. So I'm waiting for Sori to come back. That means the human was wrong, not some perfect God. Wrong in what sense, Vlad? Who determines what right or wrong is? Now, we use terms like right, wrong, good, or bad as if those are just axiomatic facts in the world without any sort of justification for them. So I think that part's got to get a little bit cleaned up in your epistemology, Vlad. You see what I'm saying? Nick, don't worry. I'm not here to have a theological discussion with anybody. I'm just waiting for Sori to get back, and I'm downloading the next video. I'm not gonna hijack your DJ stream. But yeah, Disturbed is next. The name of the song is Hey You, which I'm assuming is why Soraya said Hey You to me. And it's a lyric video, so hopefully we don't get blocked.
I went to get your Gatorade. I found a treat in the fridge.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I did.
Well, correct or incorrect, you still need a justification for it. Right? If you say 2 + 2 is 4, on what basis are you saying that 2 + 2 is 4? The only way you'd be able to justify 2 + 2 is 4 is by using math, which a person could argue that you're using circular reasoning, which of course all reasoning at the foundational level is circular. Okay, guys, we shall return. Commercial break on the way. I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Question, when I had a car accident in Darb, Poughkeepsie, before we totaled the car, I saw my grandma's spirit saying calmly, just come to me. I got out of the car before it exploded. There you go.
Oh my gosh. Look at how much goosebumps I have.
I know. That's a
really gave me a lot of goosebumps.
that's a massive goosebumpy thingy. Does nothing to boost the legitimacy to who, Vlad? Vlad, my brother, I've been around you for years. You have the same template over and over again. You bring up a problem, the problem gets solved, and then you go, well, that doesn't mean anything, you go to the next one. It's happened over and over again, Vlad. I don't say anything to validate anything to you, Vlad. But I do know that there are other people listening, so those questions are questions that I know other sincere seekers are asking for, and so I answer them because most people are too afraid to ask them, and you ask them, so they're very useful.
Vin's mind, the way it works is he sees patterns, so if you've created a pattern with him, he's seen it.
Right. So if I respond,
believe me.
If I respond to you, that's why I respond to you, Vlad. Much love to you, though. Okay, here we go. Disturbed, DJ Nick in the house. Okay, dear listener, you get four songs, makes you a DJ for the night. So there's Mr. DJ Nick's icon. Better be a wolf of Odin than a lamb of God. Now we're Christians, we don't believe that. That's bullshit. But Nick is the DJ, so he gets it over there. He gets to put it over there. There's a little thing in there for DJ Nick. We are here for you, dear listener.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
we've listened to...
But you have picked some interesting song choices.
Alter Bridge. We've listened to Falling in Reverse. Now we're going to listen to a band called Disturbed. Which actually, Disturbed has been the Sound of Silence review that you did.
I know.
Was the most popular thing we've ever done.
That was right up there.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the movie, but it was a trash ass movie. Then you went after the lady at the movie theater. You were in a terrible mood, and then we got home, and then we had Sound of Silence queued up. It was like 1 a.m, so we did it, and you were in such a bad mood, so you cried through the whole song or whatever, and it like became like the greatest thing we've ever done. So
that was that.
Here is a repeat. That was that night. Here is the repeat.
Yeah, she really pissed me off. I think she kept putting her shit on me. I don't want her.
No. That was a different one. That was a different one.
I guess I've had a lot of interactions with.
Okay, here we go. Disturbed. Hey, you. Let's do it. And Amy, we have to talk about the car explosion thing. Amy will like drop these massively significant situations in chat in this like strange matter of fact.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell kind of life do you live? Oh yeah, like right before the car exploded. I was never told of this.
An explosion.
An explosion was supposed to be fresh. I actually had. I've been. All right, let's go. Ooh. I think we're about to move.
Are you angered enough? Do you feel confined? Are you losing your mind? Hey, you!
I see a theme, dear listener. What do you think the theme is, Ya Rasulallah?
Well, I mean, it's got there's bad stuff, but there's positive. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like the other songs where we're talking about bad mindsets and stuff, but I don't know. Like, all of them seem kind of a little bit preachy. Nick's preaching at us tonight.
This song is a banger, man. This song is a banger. It came out in 2022.
Apparently, July 14th. So
this is new. Mega new.
That means I need to speed up breaking up the stream.
Yeah. You know, I love that part. Too many of us. Okay, what do you think the song was about?
What do you mean?
What do you think the song was about? What do you mean, what do I mean? What kind of question is that?
Hey, you, have you ever had enough of it? How the blind are leading the blind? Hey, you, are you angered enough? Do you feel confined? Are you losing your mind? Done putting up with it? Inner peace isn't easy to find. Are you strong enough to stop jumping in? Can we begin again then? It seemed like it was like the same thing as kind of the other one where we're talking about, well, the kings and pawns and, you know what I mean? Like being a leader, getting... And when you won't let go, just keep this thought in mind. The closest mirror reveals the true enemy staring back at you. Like, so you gotta get past your own personal hang-ups. What did you get from it?
Well, I'm not sure. You know, when he says feeling confined,
yeah,
I might be reading too much into it, but considering this came out in 2022, you know, the whole lockdown situation,
yeah,
where people were literally confined and people went stir crazy. Are you angered enough? Are you angry? Do you feel confined? Are you losing your mind? That to me, you know, that was pretty much a lot of people in 2020.
Yeah, jeez.
Done putting up with it. Inner peace isn't easy to find. Are you strong enough to stop jumping in? Can we begin again then? Strong enough to stop jumping in is probably jumping into all the various cultural jihads and things like that. Like I said, like, I don't blame any particular person. I know people want me to. I don't blame a particular person or even a particular media outlet. It's just, I really believe this. I believe the lockdown made it so that you could curate your social circles, and that accelerates division.
Yeah.
So when I'm at work or I'm at school, yes, I'm going to gravitate towards people who think like me, but I have to deal with people who don't think like me, just period.
Yeah.
End of story. I have to work with people who don't think like me, act like me, whatever. And I have to find a way to see their collective humanity so that I can work with them. But when I'm online, I can curate. I can only be around LGBT people, or I can only be around far right, you know, evangelicals and whatever. I can completely determine who I'm around, and what that does is it creates obviously an echo chamber. But then the bitterness on the other side, where you demonize everybody that isn't like you, gets exponentially, increased. And so now when people come out of the catacombs or the caves of the lockdown, now everybody hates each other. So are you angered enough? Do you feel confined? Are you losing your mind? Done putting up with it? Inner peace isn't easy to find.
And I don't think that human beings do well when they're only being pushed by one side. Like, I think that we need balance, and you need the voices of people that don't agree with you. So that way, for one, I mean, we're seeing. I don't think I'm trying to go back into that discussion, but
go ahead.
Like, some of these abortion discussions are like, I can't even believe some of the stuff that people are saying. They'll be like, well, it's just a clump of cells. I'm like, really? Like, and these are like really like woke people saying this. I'm like, you've been appealing to science for years, but now on this topic, you're going to go against every embryologist around. What are you talking about? So like, but that's because there has been, for some reason, like, people have been more on the quiet side. I'm seeing a lot more people that are pro-life coming out and saying that they're pro-life, and I was surprised because I didn't know they were. And until this Roe v. Wade thing got overturned, you didn't really hear much from them. But now they're kind of coming out of the woodwork, and people are saying that.
Yeah, that's true.
And then it's causing this...
Like, who are you?
Yeah, I was like, wait, I never heard that from you.
Okay. All right, you're on the team. Come on.
Yeah, the more the merrier. But, so, there, you know what I'm saying? Like, because the people that have been, for abortion and saying these same things, like, I guess they say that to each other and they all accept that it's a clump of cells, when it's like, I mean, come on.
Yeah,
how
a lot of stuff
far
goes...
back in science are you going for those facts?
But that's what happens when you're only around people that believe like you do.
Right.
So, and it's the same thing happens with pro-lifers. There's some very basic objections that a lot of pro-lifers don't know how to answer. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
So, and that's because they've only been around people that have an emotional aversion to the practice, but don't have the science, don't have the whatever, and aren't prepared and all that.
And I've seen the same thing happen, like, because I grew up in a religious circle where people will say, like, we all thought we knew what people, like, evolutionists believed or what atheists believed. We thought we knew what y'all believed.
Yeah.
And
we
then,
didn't know shit.
yeah, and then you start talking, then you're, and, like, there was, like, a lot of times where I'm like, well, you guys believe blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no.
Yeah, people always ask me, like, what's the biggest thing about the channel? Like, there are a lot of, like, atheism is on a spectrum, and if you only look at what you see in the internet with the Richard Dawkins, I call them the internet atheists, like, those people are, like, playing a role. That's not your average run-of-the-mill everyday person who's saying, look, I just don't feel convinced by this or that piece of data or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, from a religious angle, you automatically just demonize these people because if they don't believe, there's something wrong with them. Because a lot of religious people, I'm starting to discover, this is another thing I found on the channel, a lot of religious people are actually very insecure about their own faith, and so when they see somebody else say, no, I don't believe any of that stuff, instead of saying, let's figure out what's going on with this guy, it makes them so insecure because they're not solidified in their faith. And so when somebody's vocalizing that kind of disagreement with something that's so fundamental to you, people go insane and start going at, oh, you godless, blah, blah, blah. I've seen it a million times. It's like, holy shit.
Throwing Bibles at people, splitting them in half.
People are so, like, there's so many layers to why a person believes what they believe or doesn't believe what they say they don't believe, or what people are so layered. But what he's saying here is, you can't let go, so keep this thought in mind: your greatest enemy is still alive and growing inside of you. Hey, you walking away, you've got the wrong kind of mindset. It's helping no one. Yeah, the whole walking away thing is like, that's an interesting line in this song, because what do you mean by walking away? Like, you have some people that are like, yo, I quit this whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home, like, plugging in the internet, and I'm just going to, like, I'm going to completely disconnect myself from American society. Fuck this place. And I think it's a good message to say that's not a good play, because we still need your voice in the public square. Because your little voice of influence is important, and if you completely turn your back on the process, then your voice is no longer part of the milieu, and so the only voices left are going to be the crazy people that got us in this horrible situation in the first place. Vlad said 2+ years of lockdown is liable to drive anybody insane.
Jeez.
I mean, and, like, everybody knows how we were doing the lockdown mask vax thing. We were follow the science, this is available data, et cetera, et cetera. So I my mindset was, this is a novel situation. None of us have dealt with this in the last 150, 200 years, whatever it is. So I gave our political leaders on both sides, like, a wide berth to make errors, Trump was saying, okay, nobody from China can come over. And then Nancy Pelosi shows up in New York City, goes to Chinatown and says, hug an Asian person, Donald Trump's a racist, blah, blah, blah. Well, it turns out that was the right play. He was right to do that. And then, Trump made other mistakes, and so the Democrats are like, look what Trump did. And then, it was a back and forth. And I was like, you know what? Nancy Pelosi, I think Nancy Pelosi is not a very good person. I don't think she's an honest politician. But I do not believe that she purposely stood up there in New York City and purposely wanted people to catch coronavirus. I believe that at the beginning of this virus, she truly thought that it was not that big of a deal, and that this is just Trump being racist again. And when, look, he talks about Mexico, he talks about the Muslim ban. Mm-hmm. So I understand why she would say, oh, here's another one with Trump. Mm-hmm. It turned out she was wrong, but then the Republicans made this giant, oh my God, Nancy Pelosi, blah, 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 blah. And then obviously Trump made some mistakes. Oh, he said this is going to be over by tomorrow or some ridiculous thing. And he was wrong. Like, I give a lot of, the only people I have no mercy for are the CDC and Fauci. Because now it's come to light that they purposely hid information, important information from the American people. And a lot of people think that all those things are, intertwined with each other. No. A lot of these agencies, etc., they have lifetime appointments. So they were there before Trump, the head of the CDC was there before Trump and after Trump. Mm-hmm. The same thing with Fauci. He was around. Fauci's been around since the AIDS crisis and before that. By the way, giving really terrible information, saying that HIV could be passed on by touch and stuff. So you had all these gay men that were dying by themselves without anybody there because Fauci told everybody that you could catch AIDS. So my point is, these institutions and the folks who lead these institutions are not beholden to the president. Mm-hmm. You can't blame Biden for it. You can't blame Trump for it. And my point is, if you completely say, I'm done with the process completely, I a lot of Democrats, a lot of left-wing young people, millennials, are saying they're not going to vote, all this because they were look, we wanted Bernie in 16, that got taken from us. We wanted Bernie in 20, and then Obama came and took it from us. And then we ended up with Biden, and everything is worse. And he didn't do anything he said he was going to do for us. And it's what's the point? And here we are in another war. Yeah. So I think it's a real good plea to say you can't let go, and you can't just walk away from the process because there's still a chance for, especially young people. At the end of, we're about to inherit this country. Because these folks, I'm not saying it to be, I'm not happy about it, but they're about to die off in the next, 5 to 10 years, and the country's going to be ours. So you cannot quit the process now. Mm-hmm. You have to be more engaged than ever, but people are more discouraged than ever because, and hell, obviously I'm on the other side of this, but I get it. The Democrats have the Senate, and you have the presidency, and you can't do shit about Roe v. Wade. I could see from their vantage point them just say, man, fuck this shit, bro, I'm out. I get it, but you can't do that because we're about to inherit the country. And I'll tell you what, the bad guys, and I'm not going to name the bad guys, but I believe a lot of them originate from our side. They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop voting. They're not going to stop legislating. They're not going to stop propagandizing. Yeah. So I think this is a plea to not give up on the project, of America as a whole. And I think that's important for, especially for young people to hear. Is you can't walk away from this. At the end of the day, it's kind of, you can't walk away from your family. And I know, but at the end of the day, when you watch the Olympics, you want the American to win. Obviously, right? So, we are a family in one sense or another, whether you like that terminology or not. But you can't quit on the project. Is what I got. So. Yeah. Good song. Oh, look at this. Would you be more likely to demonize and kill somebody you've met a few times? Met, I'm assuming, in the flesh. I'll bet not. Familiarity is the king of empathy. Wow.
I agree 100%. Yeah.
That's so true. You spend all this time on the internet creating this weird caricature. And that's the other thing about the internet is, you can take a 2-3 second clip with no. This is one of the things that terrifies me about the whole Libs of TikTok thing. You can take a 30-second clip, and then you can take that one clip and make it definitive of an entire group of people. So the LGBT people I know, when they see the fucking 55-year-old man in tidy whities twerking in front of a 6-year-old child, or when the 8-year-old boy is twerking surrounded by a group of men who are cheering him on. All the LGBT people I know personally are horrified, and I believe, like, Riv isn't here, but if River was there and he saw the 8-year-old twerking, I believe Riv would put hands on that kid and get him out of that circle. I believe that. But what happens is a lot of people who subscribe to Libs of TikTok do not have gay friends in real life. Mm-hmm. I've got this guy, Mike, and, you know, Mike I used to work with. There's no way he would allow that. There's no way. I know that dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, me, you know, like, I love that dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and you know me, how I express love is I'll do violence for you. Somebody trying to mess with Mike, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I know what he would do. So I'm watching Libs of TikTok like, this fucking guy, fuck this guy, bro. But I think about Mike and I'm like, Mike is not that way. Mike would never twerk in front of a 6-year-old. But so you got this 30-second clip and a bunch of people on the right wing who have never have a gay friend or know that they have a gay friend. And so now the entire community gets characterized by the actions of that one fucking guy. And there's no way to solve that problem on Twitter because all they're doing is just copying and pasting from TikTok and whatever from these sick people who post this stuff and talk about pride and all this shit. So there's literally no way to stop those people, Libs of TikTok. But it's that type of thing where, you know, what Vlad was talking about. Now you have no empathy for the community. You have no empathy for the Matthew Shepherds of the world. You have no empathy for, you know, the Trevor Project, which I'm not even going there and thinking about that. You know, teenage kids who are rejected by their families and driven to suicide. Because, so that's the Trevor Project. And and all that shit. You know, so I have all that shit in my head. You know, and it was cool because the reason I got abreast of the Trevor Project was because Ben Shapiro and all those guys, which Dorian listens to, was saying all this stuff about LGBT people or whatever, and that they're, you know, soft or exaggerating, whatever crazy thing he said. And Johan, who's the contrarian, started digging, and then he found the Trevor Project. He explained the whole thing to me. It's just absolutely fucking heartbreaking.
He did?
Yeah. Just absolutely, you know, and, you know, he was explaining it to me, and I was like trying to, you know, he doesn't have any kids yet.
Yeah.
So he doesn't realize how fucked up that is. I mean, he knows, but he doesn't have any kids,
right.
so.
Yeah.
So when I see those videos from Libs of TikTok, Mike is in my head, the Trevor Project is in my head, and this guy's in my head, and I know that guy is not the sum total, and the fucking crazy person that was telling the 6-year-old to wave at the guy twerking, I know that that's not the sum total of the LGBT community, but the people watching it don't. So now I'm going to put all of them as pedophiles, all of them as crazy people, and that makes it that much more for you to vote for terrible LGBT legislation, all that type of stuff.
We've seen this before with the church, with the priests and the pedophiles, with the stuff that was going on there, and then just moving it around, and the church not coming out and saying, hey, this is wrong, and we don't agree with this. So because we wouldn't stand out and say that, then people that are not a part of it, they look at that and they say, all those people are like that.
Yeah.
And that's why we stand up and say, no, we don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And any priest or whatever, it should not have been bounced around. They should have been, the full extent of the law should have been played out on these people. That shouldn't have happened. Those kids should have been protected, blah, 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 blah.
But the difference
so,
is,
what?
With we evangelicals have a lot of inordinate power in this country. And even if you hear something about priest abuse, you're not going to see, oh, there was a hate crime against a priest. Oh, they're killing Christians because a priest did this. Whereas somebody showed up at one of these drag storytime things with a gun.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the fucking difference. Now, I've already talked about this on the LGBT side. Like, y'all are dumb as hell for not going on the Dave Rubin show and Tucker Carlson
saying,
and
this is wrong,
and publicly
there's no
separating
other group of people that could do this without people being outraged.
It's
unbelievable.
That's a complete mistake on the part of GLAAD and the LGBT community. But that's a separate topic. My point is, if a priest goes and does something, my life is not in danger. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If a priest does something to a kid, as a matter of fact, if the priest does something to a kid, what are evangelicals going to say? Oh, they put a gay dude up there. That's the problem. Right? So even that gets spinned and turned around against LGBT people. So I get what you're saying. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. I get what you're saying, but this shit gets really dangerous, man. It gets really, really, really dangerous. And I'm sorry, but in my mind, the folks who are malevolent are much better at manipulating social media than the people of goodwill. And that's a problem. That's a problem, and it's dangerous. You know, it's really, really dangerous. And so it's a good song with a really, really good message. I think it's a 9.7 for me.
Oh wow. The message was good. I wasn't like a huge fan of what it sounded like. It wasn't. I haven't listened to a lot of Disturbed, but it didn't have that same like Disturbed emotion to it that I'm accustomed to. Mm-hmm. It's 8.2 for me. Good.
They don't publicly go against it because they fear the backlash and being ostracized by their own community.
That's exactly what I thought
stupid.
It was.
It's stupid. You know why? If you get ostracized by the gay community, you get to go home. If people look at this shit and it's uncontested, people fucking die. Mm-hmm. So somebody in that community needs to suck it the fuck up, because this is gonna. That's where the whole "Don't Say Gay" bill came from. So LGBT leaders are in a very bad fucking conundrum. But the choice to me is obvious. If I was in that community, I wouldn't give a fuck. I don't care if you ostracize me or you're my friend or not. People are too sensitive, man. Yeah. People are too sensitive. Like, you got to do that for the sake of the whole community. Even if they're going to ostracize you, it's better than them being dead. And make no fucking mistake, people are going to die over this shit, in my opinion. Yeah, it's that dangerous to me. So, because now you start talking about people's kids, man. And otherwise, very peaceful people lose their minds when it comes to their kids. So,
that is 100% true.
You got to get over that shit. They got to get out there and say some shit. Anyway, tough situation. I do think our generation's the solution. Inshallah, we'll figure it out. But what I do know, I don't know if we'll figure it out in time, but what I do know is that we got more music coming. Big homie DJ Nick, Finn out.
Sori out.
Gone. Okay. Commercial break. We'll be right back. I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, a challenge shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener.
Up
Yes, dear
next
listener.
on our DJ Nick stream is Lions at the Gate, Find My Way, featuring Tatiana Shaimaluk
That's
of
the girl
Ginger.
from Ginger, right?
Yeah.
Before we start, though,
Kai is
the
here.
big homie Kai is here, and
Put this way. 'Cause
we'll flip it this way. Oh, yeah, I see what you did there. And he got us something, so I'm opening
something
the present.
I'm very excited about.
I'm opening the present now. Here it is. The Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Wolleben. What they feel, how they communicate, discoveries from a secret world.
I'm very interested.
Yes.
There has not been a single thing that Kai has sent us that I have not read through.
Look at this. He draws on groundbreaking scientific discoveries to describe how trees are like human families. Tree parents live together with their children, communicate with them, support them as they grow, share nutrients with those who are sick or struggling, and even warn each other of impending dangers. Holy shit. I'm telling you guys, the scientific world is changing. You guys got to be up on it. Yes, Raul, someone did say ginger.
I can't wait. Thank you, Kai.
This is a DJ stream. You get 4 songs or more. You are the DJ for the day, and that is DJ Nick, who has reserved a bunch of Fridays to bring to you beautiful people. This is Lions at the Gate. Let's do this shit. See. Bro.
Wow.
I want to record right fucking now, bro.
I was literally thinking, I bet you we could find a studio around.
Oh my
Why
gosh,
can't we find a
man.
studio? That's what I was
Dude.
thinking when we're...
Dude, telling you. I'm telling you. I cannot wait. Okay, that was Wolves. I was going to say Wolves in the Throne Room. Lions at the Gate.
Find My Way.
Featuring Tatiana. Find My Way's the lyrics? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
It's like I'm watching a disaster on a TV screen. It's like I'm living a dream, a fracture, like it's 1,000 degrees. I'm a product of my suffering. I gotta say, I love the rain and the bluish hue in the music video. That was really nice.
So good.
Will I ever find salvation, or did I break it all? My foundation, distraction, is all that I need from the fact that I'm a fucking disease. I'm dying just to feel anything at all. Will I ever heal or find my way home? Cover me in dirt. I want to be alone. I hope that in the end I find my way. Man, there's a theme of cover me in dirt.
Yeah,
when
a
I go
couple
to
of
the
these.
grave, and I think that's like when you really hit that, there's a certain point that you hit where you're like, you almost think that being covered in dirt would be like a sort of peaceful thing. Like, let it just be done. And now I'm going off the rails like a freight train. I'm on my way to my very own version of hell. Breaking out, nothing can save me. But I will climb my way out of this hell. Will I ever conquer my weakness? Can I ever find forgiveness? I am going under the surface, but never finding a purpose. I am dying just to feel anything at all. Will I ever heal or find my way? Just cover me in dirt. I want to be alone. I hope that in the end I find my way home. Wow.
It's a very fascinating thing being in this community because, again, the assumptions. We were talking about this yesterday with the door knocker song. So the door-to-door Christian guys knocking on the door, and apparently the guy was listening to some death metal or some shit, and the Christian just automatically thought, oh, that's devil music, blah blah blah, and it escalated to the point where the Christian threw a Bible at the guy. And it's like these assumptions that people have of the metal community.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating because the assumptions that the metal community has about religion or religious people, particularly Christianity, I think both of us are like talking past each other because, I mean, look at the themes in the song. Will I ever find salvation? Salvation from what? Where do you get the idea that you need salvation? On the way out to my own version of hell. Nothing can save me. Climb my way out of this hell. Can I ever find forgiveness? Forgiveness for what? And who's gonna forgive you? You know, that's one of these like weird, like, they generalize forgiveness here. They generalize salvation here. Like, it's not, I hurt your feelings, will you forgive me? It's this, it seems like people are asking for an overall forgiveness for all of their collective flaws. Who can give you that? You know, so some of this,
a lot of times people want to make it seem like that guilt comes from like societal pressures.
right,
And
or
that-
religion, yeah.
Yeah, and if there was no societal pressures or religion, that people wouldn't feel guilt.
Yeah. And
But I don't think that's true, because there are people within lots of different types of systems that when they do something that would be morally wrong to the one true God, they'll have like this inside like, this is not, I don't know, man.
well, yeah, people blame religion a lot for, using guilt or whatever. Not realizing that everybody deals with guilt, period. As a matter of fact, we have a name for people who have never dealt with guilt in their life.
That's true, yeah.
They're called sociopaths.
And they're not looked on with a lot. Yeah, that's so funny.
So it's like, what are you saying?
minute,
What are you saying? You want us all to be sociopaths? Of course you deal with guilt. Why? Because we hurt people. Why? Something is wrong with us. You know, even in the Disturbed song, in the previous Disturbed song, he specifically said, like, you are the problem. The problem is inside of you.
Yeah.
So, like, hold on, right there. It says in the previous song, he says, "You know you can't let go, so keep this thought in mind. Your greatest enemy is still alive and growing inside you."
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've learned is that a lot of my metalhead friends or people on the darker side of theology, whatever, if you repackage terms like original sin and say nobody's perfect, they'll go along with that. If you say you've hurt people instead of saying you're a sinner, they'll go along with that.
Yeah.
It's a semantic thing.
Yep.
And initially I was like, this is completely irrational. Like, of course you're talking about it. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But the term sin or whatever, it's got so much baggage
Jinx.
attached to it
Yeah.
that it just completely shuts off the mind. So if you just reorient the verbiage, then you start communicating with people and you find, the common ground. But there are a lot of themes here: salvation, forgiveness, hell, and then right here, never finding a purpose. I said this one time. If you are the product of random unguided processes, why the fuck do you care about having a purpose?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? If the ultimate principle in the universe is randomness and purposelessness, where is this insatiable desire for purpose coming from?
Right.
There's not even, you can't
Right.
even begin to try to find a quote scientific explanation for that. But bless God, materialism is on its way out. But it's just very fascinating to me. Like, now, where we diverge as Christians is, I will climb my way out of this hell. But then the very next line is, will I ever conquer my weakness? So he's saying, I'm gonna pull myself up by my bootstraps. You know what's fascinating to me is that economically, a lot of my metalhead friends say that that's bullshit. You ain't gonna pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like, a lot of folks are on the left, and I agree with them. Like, a lot of folks are on the left and saying, no, people need help. Medicare for all, blah, 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 student loan debt. Everybody understands we all need help. But when it comes to, like, spirituality, morality, your own sense of purposelessness, your own need for forgiveness, oh no, you can pull yourself. I could do it myself. Well, the next line is, will I ever conquer my weakness? No. No.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You cannot save yourself. I don't care what you say. I've spun around this little ball of wax for 30 odd years. You cannot save. And listen. I've been around, in my view, the top 1% of 1% of the most motivated individuals literally on the planet. I've been in the company of those men.
Yeah.
Okay, she thinks I'm an alpha male. I was a dime a dozen with those guys.
But you weren't no bitch.
I ain't no bitch, but I was a dime a dozen. You can't save yourself. You just can't. And so it's fascinating. I hope that in the end I find my way home. I'll find my way home. Find my way. I'm dying just to feel.
Where's your way and where is home?
Right. Where is your way? Where is home? All of these things. As a matter of fact, one of the earliest nicknames for Christianity that the early Christians used to use was the way. The Book of Acts.
Really?
Yeah. We taught them about the way.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so the way actually is an earlier term for Christianity than even the term Christian.
That's interesting.
So, like,
Jesus called himself the way.
A person could say, well, look, he came up in a Western Seats and Laban, so of course you cannot escape Christian framing. And I do think there's some validity to that. But that makes sense on the cognitive level, but it doesn't make sense on the emotional level, which is where metal finds itself. This thing is real to him. This is his experience. He needs salvation. He needs forgiveness for his sins.
Yeah.
He needs an escape from hell, and he needs to find. There is some place called home, and what is home but the place where your family is?
Yep.
And our God is using all familiar language. God the Father, God the Son, His Blessed Mother, Jerusalem above is free, and she's our mother. That's home. But I'm away from home. So even he says, I'll find my way. That means you're lost. So you're saying that you want to get to some place where you're embraced and you're loved unconditionally, that's home, but you're saying the very fact that you're saying you have to find your way means that you know you're lost. All of these are like this, all of this, you know, and lost is a big term in evangelical. Oh, this guy's a lost person, this is a lost person. Of course, you're lost. But we're so prideful and arrogant that we don't want to go back to the old ways. 2,000-year-old book. They didn't even have the internet when the Bible was written. Allahu Akbar. It's right there. I don't know what people want me to do about it. I mean, the themes are right there. I don't know. What can you say? What can you say?
You've left us no choice.
Here's Tasco. Stop with your Christian trickery.
I know.
But yeah, I think it's a very, very fascinating thing that you know, all these things to me count as prayers that God's going to answer.
Yeah.
Because
this part too.
You know, listen, when a kid is a newborn and he's crying, he does not know, Dad, I need milk. Mom, I need milk. All he's doing is, ah! And then we as the parents go to the kid and we look at him and say, oh, he needs milk. He needs to be changed, yada, 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 yada. Okay? So, like, you don't have to articulate specifically, God, I need Jesus Christ to come forgive me of my sins because, you know, I believe in the hypostatic union. He lived the perfect life. I believe in the active and passive obedience of Christ and the full material bodily resurrection of Christ, blah, 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 blah. No, like, it's just sometimes it's, that's, and God goes, oh, okay, he needs to be changed. Or, okay, he needs some purpose. Okay, he needs to be forgiven. He needs to know that he's loved unconditionally. This guy, he knows. And that's what I love about the Trinity. They know. So all this stuff counts as a prayer to me, and people could say I'm bringing my religion into it. I just react to the song, dear listener. I just react to the song.
I mean, what can we do?
What can be done? I like the song. It was really, really good. It was really, really honest. You know, he said I'm a disease. That was pretty tough. You know, like, when you're a parent, you know, things just hit you different. Like when I was I remember in the 11th grade, I had written out a line and I was like, oh, that was so good. I said something like, I don't really want to see, and when I grow up, I don't really want to be. So, you know, when I grow up, I want to be this, I want to be that, and I just put, when I grow up, I don't really want to be. And I was like, that is such a brilliant line. I was like, whoa, this is one of the best lines of all time. And I was celebrating how good of a line it was. And then my poor mother happened upon it, because my mother didn't believe in privacy, so she just go through all my shit. I want this shit right, this foolish fuckery. Like my mom, you know. And like, I'm like, what the fuck? For of course, me, I'm like, I'm 17 years old. How dare you go through my journal? Blah, 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 blah. But, you know, my mom is not going to tell me, like, you're terrifying me.
Yeah, you scared her.
She's.
Yeah.
But now, on the other side of it as a parent, it would kill me if my son wrote something like, I'm a disease. Like, that would kill me. But things change so much when you have kids. So hopefully, if any of you guys feel like that, you're not. And I'm glad you're around.
Yep.
And you should stay around. Okay, I like the song. What do you think?
The Bible says that you're made in the image and likeness of God. You're not a disease. Your sin is a disease, though.
Seduct.
You got to know the difference between yourself and that.
That's a very good point. You do have to make a distinction between the things you do, the things you've done, and the being that you are. Mm-hmm. But what you've done and what you've said are things, but you are a being, and that's not the same thing. Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, I also think that is part of why people, like, when they said distraction is all I need from the fact that I'm a fucking disease, I'm dying just to feel anything at all. Well, obviously they are feeling something because they need the distraction from the fact that they're a disease. Mm-hmm. So I think that there's a lot of, like, overlap and stuff in the way that the person is feeling, and understanding that our sin is not ourselves, but it's what we do, like what you just said, I think is important. Okay, so I really like this one. It was very, very heavy. I liked the music video. I'm gonna give this one a 9.5. 9.6.
Sadie in the house. I'll give it a solid 9. Solid 9. Sadie in the house. We got, do we have any more music?
We do. We have one more song.
We have
Lorna
one more
Shore.
song. This is, Nick hasn't, this is probably one of the highest nights for Nick, man. He's on fire.
He's done so many great streams.
That's the thing. It's.
I just.
I probably say that every Friday, but I'm gonna look at the last Friday. I'm like, fucking Nick.
Look at him.
He always has these songs. Okay, then out.
Sorry, out.
Go. Okay, we shall return. Commercial break. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull
You
that off.
can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee, a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord,
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
and they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead
lead them to buy our merch. Shout out to the big homie DJ Nick, who is our DJ for the night.
Unbelievable.
The last song on our list is Lorna Shore. Into the Earth is the name of the song. Honey, if you want that, I'm sure it's not very far in my messages to her right here.
Yeah, I need the name of that band.
Of Sulfur Wide Open.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Talk to the
So, we are doing Lorna Shore Into the Earth, and I'm going to be watching the official video over here, and Vin is going to play the lyric video for you guys over there. If you're interested in being a DJ, you buy a minimum of 4 songs, and you are the DJ for the night. So let us know if you're interested in that. Email us, vininsory@gmail.com, and we will work out the details with you.
Okay, the last but not least song is from the band Lorna Shore. The name of the song is Into the Earth.
Just pass me the little headphone plug, because we're gonna hear the official, and everybody's going with the lyric.
Oh, okay. Heads up, the official Lorna Shore video will give you nightmares. Have we done Lorna Shore before?
So did before. Probably.
I feel like we should take that risk, bro. But then I decided against it. Because it says Lorna Shore to the Hellfire. That had the copyright claim where it got blocked.
All right.
Okay,
Ready?
so we can't do the official. Oh, son of a bitch. We gotta really, now that we've got that guy, we should probably, did you ask him for that song or whitelisted in total?
I just that one song.
Send him an email and ask him to get whitelisted, like, for all the songs.
Okay.
Okay?
You should do that. You're better at, constructing those
Gotcha.
emails.
Okay. This is Lorna Shore.
Stop shop talking in the middle of a review.
Well, I wanted to see if I could get the official video on there because we got it with Slipknot, but the only reason we got past that bar was because it had come out 2 hours earlier.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, we have to do it. Okay, all right. Here is the official video review for the big homie Nick. This is Lorna Shore, Into the Earth. We're watching the official video. You guys can see the lyric video. So there it is. All right. Lorna Shore, Into the Earth. Let's go.
I was like, wow, it feels like it's playing in the room.
It is playing in the room. What is it supposed to? We're supposed to mute the movie? And how are the people going to hear it?
No, you just mute your
You just
computer.
mute the computer. Okay.
To my knowledge, that's what
All right, guys.
Okay, hold on.
Lorna
Let me
Shore.
get back to where we need to be.
Into the Earth. Into the Earth. One.
Wait, hold on. I
The other thing is, I didn't hear anything on my side.
That's because I had it muted, and I was like, wow, it's showing me that it's muted, but it sounds so
All right, are we
good.
ready?
All right, ready?
1, 2, 3, go.
Go! I believe you should get yourself to church. Ew!
Oh,
Ew!
shit.
Oh my god. For real though. Okay. You guys should see that video.
Or not.
Really, really weird, strangely disturbing. First of all, I have to say, I don't know if it was extra gross or if it's just I'm pregnant and I'm generally nauseated all through the day. When all that black stuff went into his mouth. Anyway, really, seriously.
You know, I've watched thousands of videos in my travels. We have. So, it's like, you know, when we first started, it's like, oh, Behemoth is... Remember we listened to that first Behemoth song we prayed afterwards?
Did we?
Yeah.
Aw, that's cute.
We listened to our "O Father, O Satan, O Son."
Oh,
and then
yeah.
We prayed for Nergal right after we did the tape.
Yeah.
And
Blech.
so I feel like, you know, like we listened to a song yesterday. It was like Lucifer's disciples, blah blah blah. And I thought to myself, like, yeah, we turned a corner. This shit doesn't affect us anymore.
Until today.
Holy
oh my
shit.
gosh. My stomach is literally upset right now.
Those visuals were
gross, man.
Were insane. I also
watching the guy convulsing for so long.
Yeah, I actually want to throw up, to be honest with you. It was pretty. It's a pretty effective video, and you know they pretty much.
I have no idea what the lyrics
focused.
are.
Yeah. This one I think this is the first video where I truly really didn't look at the lyrics at all. At all. Okay, so this would be the first time I'll be looking at the lyrics. Visually, it was extremely effective.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of times.
Disturbing. I think I'm actually more disturbed about this video than you, actually. But go ahead.
There's a lot of times when we see videos and stuff where, like, I don't know, maybe Christians would be like, "That's no blah blah." This one though, honest to goodness, I kept thinking whoever was the main influencer for this should get himself to church. A very effective church that knows how to handle these things, because this is, I don't know.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Sensation leaves as I'm drifting slowly, illusions torn from my splintered veins. Reality shifts like pages turning in the wind. I'll become the sun. I'll become a god. I'll become the dreamer, dreaming frozen in my anxious mind. Ooh. Feeling slowly fades into plasticity. Is this the end or just the beginning? Lucidity or nightmare unfolding? My heart, my soul, my body has grown so cold. Converge, I crash into the earth, into the earth. Into the earth, lost in the scape, terrified. Break me free from this nightmare. See? This is like, okay, so it sounds like this person is in this situation, but that there is still a part of them that's saying, break me from this.
Yeah. Break me free from this nightmare, stifled by realms uncertain I can't escape. Let me go, I'm fucking horrified. Now all my fears are personified. But they were always personified, Ya Rasulullah.
Thanks, Gary.
Numb to the call of a broken idol. Descent of the mind, losing touch. Sensation leaves, I'm drifting slowly. I'll become a god, I'll become the dreamer. This to me, hallucinations
I was gonna say,
envelop me in inebriation, the continuation of a world with no reins, bound for destruction within this fevered dream I will have forgotten. See, that right there to me, This is about a guy who's dying and going to what we call hell, in my opinion. And
you think he's dying?
In the end, he's surrounded by these humanoid beings, but they're not. It's like a, in a Christian view, you get resurrected, and the resurrection is an upgrade of what your body is.
Yeah.
But what doesn't get talked about a lot in Christian theology, Daniel 12, is that the unrighteous are also resurrected, and the unrighteous also receive bodies. And my current theory on hell is not that hell is a literal place of burning sulfur and blah, 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 blah. I think there's enough biblical historical evidence for that to easily dismiss that. But I don't think that that's good news. I've often said that hell is a combination of The Walking Dead and The Purge. Mm-hmm. So aesthetically speaking, what you would see is everybody looking like a zombie, right? Because a zombie are the living dead. And, the whole idea of zombies is a fascinating idea. Because it does not comport with a materialistic worldview. But what it does say is that you could be physically walking on the earth, and somehow, physically speaking, their systems are operating. Respiratory system, whatever. But because of the state that they're in, we call them dead. Right?
Yeah.
They're called The Walking Dead. I mean, literally the show's called Walking Dead, Night of the Living Dead, whatever. And so the zombie is a very interesting archetype in Western culture because, again, I still think you need a Christian framework, or at least a theistic framework, to understand it.
Yeah.
There is a way to be alive and dead simultaneously, which means that there's something missing in a zombie that we have. Well, what is that? Because if I put both of you in under a microscope, your respiratory system is still working, blah, 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 blah. So what is it about a zombie that makes them dead? And what's fascinating is a zombie is an individual who only lives to consume. And you've got that phrase in Philippians.
They have no empathy.
Their God is their stomach. In other words, you get degraded to the point where you're only driven by your urges and desires, and there's no higher principle operating above you. We say that's a dead person. Even if their systems are still operating, even if the electricity in the brain, whatever you call that, is still working, you say that person's alive, but they're really not alive. So if you look here, that line is pretty crazy. Hallucinations of familiar sensations envelop me in inebriation, the continuation of a world with no reins, bound for destruction within this fever dream I will have forgotten. That line right there, the continuation of a world with no reins. This is one of the most terrifying music videos you've ever seen. Clearly they were like, we're going to make this a nightmare. And when he's describing the hellscape, it's a world with no reins.
Yeah.
Well, wait a second. I thought that was freedom. I thought religion was bad because it's got all these reins and all these constrictions. I thought, what's the problem? It's because he knows that if you actually lived in a world that had no restrictions, that would be hell. You just don't want restrictions on your particular inclinations, but you want restrictions on other people's inclinations. But what if you were in a world where there were no restrictions on anybody's inclinations, i.e. the purge? That's hell. If I put a bunch of people in a room together and I said, you guys are going to live forever and you can do anything you want and there's no rules and nobody will intervene.
Yeah.
You want a world without God, without religion, do what I want. Bro, go for it. Do it.
Morality doesn't exist.
That's called hell. It is very fascinating, like looking at this, and I'm just now experiencing these lyrics initially. But He's talking about a nightmare. I'll become a god. I'll become the sun. That's true. People in hell, what we call hell, they want to be their own god. They don't want anybody to tell them what to do. God says, you're insane. You know what the fuck you're asking for. So for 45 years or 55 years, he's been chasing you around this little marble, and you've been consistently giving him the finger, saying you want to be a god of your own little planet. Good. And he gives it to you forever. And he says, you know what, bro? I'm never going to intervene with you ever again. You and your friends, I'll never intervene again. You'll never hear me, and you'll never hear my annoying, messengers. You guys, you get your own space in the universe. Have at it. That's hell. Yeah. And it's fascinating because you can see the transformation of the guy where he starts out as human, and then toward the end of it, he becomes this thing, whatever those things are, and he then becomes because they surrounded his bed.
Yeah, I know, that was really,
which is fascinating. I gotta email Century Media because, God, that's into the earth. I want to show you guys some of these beings because that shit was unbelievable.
Oh, I can get it
was
for
such
you
a crazy.
if you
Yeah,
can't
like
find
get
it.
me a screenshot. This guy starts off as like a completely recognized human, and then towards the end of the video, he just completely, he becomes one of these nightmarishly terrible beings toward the end of the thing. So he's dead, but he's alive in this sort of reanimated, reconstituted being that has the outline and pattern of what we think of human is, but has obviously lost the image of God.
It's hard because he's convulsing, but you'll
Yeah,
still see that he's
we
human.
get that, and he's a regular human, but then toward the end of the video, he's completely transformed into some humanoid thing, and there you go.
So there's the first one.
It's a really fascinating depiction. Yeah, I and that's what was so disturbing to me about the video. I think I was like massively okay. So the guy starts off. This is how he starts off at the beginning of the video. And again, my theory is that he's dying, and he's descending into hell or whatever. So that's how he starts off. He's in distress, obviously, but he's clearly what we would consider human. Get the one where they're surrounding him first.
Okay. I knew there was something else missing there.
Yeah, so that's how he starts off, and then toward the end of the video, like he transforms into something else. Like, it's so fascinating. So like, to me, that was going like,
Video again.
huh?
I said, "Oh my god, I don't want to see this video again." But I'm trying to remember.
What's so difficult?
I don't remember when those things.
Right toward the end.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know.
The surrounding his bed. And there was a real fight. This guy was fighting to hold on, but like obviously, like, he wasn't able to. Let me just talk to the people.
I gotta say, it was.
Also, your why is it so dim?
I don't know. That this video, honest to goodness, I'm.
Extremely disturbing video. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and
What
I
were you
also
saying?
think it's because there are certain types of things that gross me out like a lot.
Yeah.
And so this had a lot of that edge on there, in especially when his
there they
body
go
was
right.
like.
There they go right there, right?
Oh, that's the one you wanted? I thought you wanted like the figures, the shot right there.
That's what I said. Go. So get that. So he's surrounded by.
I was trying to get the light in there so you could see their bodies right
okay.
there.
So there's the guy, right? And then he's surrounded on the bed by these dark beings. They're humanoid, but they're obviously not human in the sense of us being human. And then at the end of the video, he ends up being like those beings.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, it was a very, very good video. But there it is, man. Like, unbelievable. So you got this, Okay, so the guy is surrounded by these kinds of beings, right? So obviously they look humanoid, but you can tell that they're not like humans like we're humans. And I don't care how gangster you are and how much of a metalhead you are, if you ran into a group of these guys in the street, you'd have a serious problem. You should have that as a screen cap, by the way, for this video. Right? So then he starts off like this, then toward the middle of the video he's like that, and then he emerges toward the end of the video as one of those things himself. And
it's like so friggin' fast.
You know, we'll see if all this stuff is just, you know, hooey.
Is that enough? Let me take this one because
no, there's another one.
I'll get you another one.
He's in a crucifix pose, but
this? Keep going.
Just talk to the people.
Oh
gosh.
What, babe?
You take so long for stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, you should have done it yourself. Yeah, he like ends up in this crucifix pose, but like he's emerging from the guy's body.
Yeah, go ahead. So this being that you see here emerges out of the body of the human character, and biblically speaking, that's what happens. That's what happens. Like you're gonna be either upgraded or downgraded eternally. I just thought it was probably the best. If people want to know what hell is and what all that stuff looks like, I think this is a very, very good example of that. So toward the end, he becomes this, right? And it's like some sort of humanoid, but obviously he looks like them now.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like what you would consider a human anymore. And so that's what it's like to be a humanoid bereft of the image of God. And you get to hang out for all eternity, and you get no restraints whatsoever. You get to do whatever you want.
I think too that that this picture is significant, the one that I'm airdropping you right now, except that guy, because of the pose that he's in. Can you put that one up on the screen? Because of the pose that he's in, because obviously according to our religion, like Christ came and he died a brutal death on the cross in this type of a pose. And that he did it because all of us have a fucking disease, as the last song said. And so the only way for us to be rid of that disease is that he would pay the penalty for our sin.
Right.
Somebody has to pay for that. It can't go. You can't have a God that is that is about justice if sin goes unpunished.
Yeah.
So, you know, in this situation, so here you have
that cruciform pose is so
this
powerful.
guy, it's like this guy, he didn't take that sacrifice and say, okay, Christ's sacrifice is now, you know, that's mine. He's gonna be my God. He's gonna be my Lord. He's taking it for himself, and so now he's going to suffer under the wrath of God. And it's a very bizarre. This is a crazy video, man.
Well, again, the wrath of God, particularly in Romans 1, is when he just stops talking to you.
Right. And so that's where he's...
The wrath of God, when God is really, really pissed off at a person, he doesn't say that God sends fire and brimstone and all the rest of it. As a matter of fact, a lot of times God's like, hello, I'm trying to get your attention.
Well...
In Romans 1, it says that God gave them over. Like, God, like, literally says, okay, I give up, you win, you're stronger than me, go for it, here you go.
Yep.
And, okay, if that's what you want, that's what you want, bro. You can argue. People can argue. They can do this. They can do that. Look, if you don't want to believe, man, you don't have to believe, bro. But
nobody has experienced a day of their life without grace from God. Whether or not you acknowledge the existence of God or not, his grace is on you, because he says he causes the rain to fall on the just and the unjust alike. It doesn't matter. He doesn't differentiate. He's going to give good things to people that believe him and people that don't believe him. Like we're all his creation, and he sends good things.
Yeah.
And hell is going to be the very first time that anybody or the people in hell will experience a day, or now of course they're in for an eternity, but you know, that's the only time that they will have experienced what it is like when God says, okay, I'm pulling completely back from you. And it seems like, oh, you know, I think that some people might look at that and think, oh, well, I mean, that's not so bad. I don't like God anyway. But they don't realize that just because you don't like God anyway, it doesn't mean he's not giving you good things.
Yeah, and away with him goes his goodness.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't understand what you're asking for. People don't understand what they're asking for. You know, Psalm 2, like, let us burst their bonds apart and let's cast their cords over. Oh, we don't want any of this restrictive blah, 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 blah. It says, he who sits in the heavens. Kids. You should have kids.
Yeah.
Because if you had kids, you'd realize how dumb all of us are. The kid doesn't want any restraints whatsoever. He wants to be able to run out in the street, and he doesn't want your annoying ass telling him that he can't run out in the street. Because he doesn't understand what an 18-wheeler is.
Yeah.
He doesn't get it. And he
Yeah.
doesn't understand what an 18-wheeler is going to do to his little head. He doesn't get it.
Right.
And the only way for him to get it is for him to get it. And so that's the problem. By the time you get it, it's too late. So, yeah, but, you know, it's unbelievable, man. Like, that video was absolutely disturbing. And, you know, people talk about this now, like the hellscape that Biden's creating, or when Republicans in office, they talk about the hellscape that he's creating. And, you know, again, we're drawing on these symbologies and these terminologies that we've gotten from religion to try to communicate something. But what they're saying is so fascinating, because it's like, yeah, they're creating a hellscape, but why is it a hellscape? It's because hell is a culture. Hell is a culture. It's not a location, it's a culture. So when you get a bunch of selfish, I'm talking about the right-wing hellscape now, you get a bunch of selfish people together, and they're rich, and they say, man, fuck the little guy, man, fuck that guy. And you create laws and things from that selfishness and from that callousness towards your fellow man. And when enough of those people get together to have influence on a people, you call that a hellscape, if you're on the left. Conversely, you got people on the left that are like, yeah, man, fucking slit the throat of that kid, man, fucking kill him. I had a guy tell me, like, yeah, 8-month-old abortions, yeah, no problem. But aside from that, like, the other issues and then if you left these people to themselves, that's also a hellscape. But again, that's a culture.
Yeah.
So what happens is you get a guy like Bernie Sanders who can look at the right-wing hellscape and say, hey, guys, this isn't right. And you get a bunch of people who are affected by that hell, and they say, hey, that's not right. And even that itself is God's grace.
Yep.
Even a guy as ruthless and cruel as Bernie Sanders there's no gestational limits in Vermont. And he's a big reason for that. He's fucking ruthless to those little kids. But even he still says we should take care of people, Medicare for all, yada, yada, yada. Now, he doesn't see the inherent contradiction and, you know, but even that is still God's grace. And then conversely, on the other side, even though right-wingers are completely blind when it comes to, hey, what about the kids on the border? Those are kids too. Complete blind spot, completely ruthless and cruel to kids in the cages. But they're negating some other forms of hellscape.
Yep.
But what if there was nobody to restrain the hellscape that a right-winger or a left-winger would create?
Right,
What if
right.
you had an entire universe of that without any restraints or any reins, and eventually you'd say, well, I'm going to go to the left-wing hellscape because that's my disposition. Eventually it would come back on you. Like, so for example, like if we had this, if there was no pro-life movement in America, we would have euthanasia, and it would be mandatory.
Oh, mandatory.
100%. You read the book The Giver, they
Yeah.
call it being
Yep.
released. I completely believe
Yeah.
that. You can't
Yeah,
look,
you're
if you're
probably
willing
right.
to do that to a baby, you're going to do that to an old person who can no longer
Right.
contribute to society.
Yeah.
All they're going to do is drain society. I had
Yeah.
a friend that said, get rid of those Down syndrome kids. They're unfit. So if there was none of us, that's what those people would be doing. But if it wasn't for the leftists, we would have literal slaves again, I believe. I think if you take right-wing economic ideology to its logical conclusion, they would literally, I'm not talking about like slave wages, like minimum wage. I'm talking about fucking antebellum, like yes massa, no massa, and it wouldn't be by race because that's too small. We're only 15% of the population. It would be by class. It would be a combination of class and race. And then LGBT people get it.
Yeah.
So I think Handmaid's Tale is a hell, right? Like it's, if you had a certain kind of right-wing evangelical that took over the fucking planet or took over a large chunk of a very powerful country, That is absolute hell what those people are going through in that show.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is including the people in the top class.
Yes.
You'll notice that in that show, even the top class people end up suffering because the hell doesn't discriminate.
Yep.
So it's fascinating. Like, we have left wing, right wing, and they're imperfect, obviously, and all of us are Hitler. All of us are Hitler. Okay? And so if we don't have left wing people to cancel out those Hitleric inclinations on the right, and vice versa, we would have hell.
Yeah.
And that is what hell is. It's a segment of the universe where every horrible faction and culture that's ever been around on this planet gets to go out and do their thing without any restraints. And eventually that suffering will circle back onto you. And then that makes you even more bitter and horrible than you were in the first 100 years. And so then you become... And what's really interesting about this show is that one of the characters is being transformed into that demon.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the hell that she experienced, it has turned her into a really demonic, horrible person.
Yep.
And you could say, I understand why, but it's just a fascinating thing to watch. So, anyway.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is, like we said, that people are made in the image and likeness of God. So it doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or you're not a Christian. You're going to have areas of your life that will, without, unbeknownst to you, you will reflect the image of God, and you will show a piece of God. And, you'll see, like some people, they have like a lot of care for animals, or they have a lot of care for the world, like creation itself, or a particular people group. And so they reflect God's image in that. And I think that maybe I misunderstood your explanation of hell, but there isn't going to be, it's only the negatives of those parties that are going to exist there. They're not the positives.
Right.
So you're not going to have the Medicare for all mindsets there, because the Medicare for mindsets, that mindset is reflectant of God's character and how God is toward his people. That everybody would have the necessary medical care. So when you think of an environment where there is no image of God at all, and God himself has said, okay, I'm going to leave you to yourselves, that's a crazy ass environment.
Yeah. Good song, I guess. It's a 9 for me. Video was pretty disturbing. Holy smokes.
Oh. This is a really hard song for me to rate because...
Holy shit, Nick. What a... I'm gonna nickname this night in my the epic night. Go ahead.
The video was so it sucked you in so much that I had to pull away from the video to listen to the audio because I was missing the entire thing. So it is a little bit difficult to rate. I definitely think it communicated its point, and I felt disturbed certainly after it.
Yeah.
And really, really, I don't know, maybe this is just whichever person, because you never know who's the one that wrote it or whatever, who feels this experience the most. I just hope that, that person ends up finding some peace.
I agree with Gutter Gods. It sounds like a really terrible case of sleep paralysis.
Oh my God.
But I just think, whew.
Anyway, so I'm going to give this one a 9.2.
Yeah, I can see that at 9.2. Shout out to the big homie Vlad. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Gary, Semper Fi homie. Obviously, shout out to the big homie DJ Nick. Talk to him, brother minister.
What an interesting song to land it on.
Yeah, I know. He starts off with the eminently positive one from Alter Bridge.
Yeah, we're getting preached at.
It gets sandwiched with all this. He's gonna get 3. You get 3 DJ Hornstick. Gang. All the rest of you guys, take care of each other. Love your neighbor.
His last comment was from the band. The song is about the initial fear and acceptance of the subconscious
while it's falling into a state of lucid dreaming. There you go. Lucid
Scary.
dreaming about hell. There you are, dear listener. You guys have a wonderful time. I'm gonna go and try to get my tones right on this song on guitar, and eventually Amy's gonna send me some
lyrics
at some point, inshallah.